Jim Walsh is here. He's an international security expert and a research associate at MIT's Security Studies program. Jim, first of all, and most importantly, will we get those remains back?
You know, I would expect we will. Now, there's got to be a little caution here. There's some experience in years gone by. The North Koreans had returned remains to other countries, and then when DNA tests were performed, it turned out they were not the people that were expected. And so it's going to be important that the North Koreans get this right. I don't think they would do that by design. They might, but it would certainly be foolish if they did. But yes, I think we're going to get remains returned insofar as people can find them. I think we're going to have family reunions. I think that's all to the good. I think the nuclear piece is going to take longer. So I think everyone needs to dial back their expectations here. I think the president should probably dial back his rhetoric, and the critics ought to dial back theirs as well.
Pardon me, let me jump in so I can set the stage here. You're talking about the president's words right after the summit. First of all, that's good news, your reaction to thinking that we're going to, being confident that we're going to get those remains back. Right after the summit, the president tweeted, quote, "There is no longer a nuclear threat from North Korea." Meanwhile, Friday, just Friday, 2 days ago, the president citing the, quote, "unusual and extraordinary threat from North Korea's nuclear arsenal," and extended decade-old sanctions against the Kim regime. And there is still, as I reported at the top, no clear timetable in terms of denuclearization. What are we to make of this?
Well, Arthel, you're absolutely right about all of that. So what are we to make? Let's start in the middle. When he certified recently that North Korea posed an extraordinary threat to the U.S., he had to endorse that language in order to renew sanctions. That's sort of part of the legislative or legal process. If you're going to renew sanctions, then you have to certify that the country you're sanctioning is in fact a threat. So that's sort of in the weeds legalism. Now, moving up, his earlier comment that the threat is gone, you know, the president is prone towards exaggeration. You know, things are either fantastic and beautiful or they're awful and a disaster. And that's not really language that sort of fits the situation right now. I think we've made some progress. I think some good things are happening, but it's going to take some time. I think the real test will be, at what point do inspectors begin to get on the ground in North Korea to be able to establish the baseline? What do they have? Where is it? How much do they have? That's going to be the first and one of the most important steps as we go through this process. So, but after 12 days, I don't expect that after 12 days. But everyone needs to tone down the rhetoric on all sides, if you ask me.
Well, kind of continuing on that for a moment, on the day of the summit, June 12th, President Trump said the process of denuclearization will start quickly. And then on June 21st, the president is saying that it will be a total denuclearization, which is already taking place. And then somewhere in between, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo saying on June 13th, "We believe that Kim Jong-un understands the urgency and that we must do this quickly," adding that he hopes for major disarmament within 2.5 years. So is the Trump administration, Jim, still in a position of power and persuasion?
I think, Arthel, that both sides want this to happen. I think both have shown, I mean, the reason, you know, that meeting was on and then it was canceled, but when it was canceled and restarted, that certainly told me that both sides want this to go forward. I mean, the North Koreans took a lot of steps up front. They released the detainees. They, you know, shut down a tunnel, this, that. That seemed evidence that they wanted the meeting. Certainly the president wanted the meeting. I don't think the North Koreans right now want to return to a situation where there is open hostility and testing and threats of war. I think both sides like this situation. And my own guess, and I was talking to South Korean officials this week, my own guess is the North Koreans are going to take some sort of high-profile, but you know, reversible, unilateral actions to sort of add to this momentum.
What does that mean?
The remains are part of that. The family reunion is part of that.
What do you mean?
Well, for example, something that lends itself to television pictures, like the blowing up of a engine test facility, like the blowing up of the tunnels that were near the nuclear site. In other words, actions that they're symbolic because they can be reversed, but you still welcome them. They're still good to have, even if they don't get you all the way to where you want to be. And it's about the political momentum, keeping it moving. I think they'll do some things. But again, the hard part will be when we actually negotiate getting people on the ground, not television cameras,
I understand.
actual IAEA inspectors.
Jim Walsh, we have to leave it there. Thank you very much.
Thank you.